Koko kiremero birionsi ime nsoko TV oboroso mu gusikuro chinsa ikomine beri cheke mambia kwabo gwetena Innocent Onyango mana Diana Nemo ime yomuruberi wensoko bwakire na ngo ikiraboni ga chinsa ninya chidakika ikomine isano nemo chia etiri chebono mambia cha Africa ya moche kereke ngo kwarigania eriyo tuchukue manya amangana ao ayakorekanira yagendere okorekana nonye na ali aetire na yara chikubwatia ase ritukoringa buneriga nonye nase omutienyi oyoiga ime na isko yense yaito ya Kenya na kirebya tubwati wetera senchero mutandao wekerero Facebook na bega seseme ya YouTube ensoko TV tosange asobwamo na boigase enamberi ya mawasiliano nigere notice ano na ibere isano na isano na mumara gatano omwero beka isato ase ujumbe nyinge na boigo kubwati ku ujumbe ya wetera se ensemeria ya WhatsApp mwambia ya bora kitoko sanga asobwamo na koligereria ayagendera tokorekana kurwa ensemo yetisemi togenda obochenu toso ase chipare cheito ubwaga chobochenu togenda yabwati na siasa oborendi waime na boigo ase ensemo yende ayabwatikaine nonyana ase chindemero cheito na ase ensemo yende nyone guchinsemo eria pwani samangana bwatikana na tourism yonse ni mensoko TV oburoso bomugusi aso muroberi oyiga bwetorobini ase ritukeriga lya lero kere ejuma entangani ase omwaka oyiga buna twatamboka byiga omwaka gwe 2025 nomo emambia yabono karibu sana tusange aso bwa mugiko mweryo elieteriane Ishmael Mogere. Mwancho morigereria ase mambia yabono ritukerigaria ijuma ne ritukoriria abange baganyererete abaibori amona aborokiwa na mono ase ritukeriga lyabegetwe nsemo gose lyararetwe na nalyo amatemo manera chigosoka alia KCSE engaki ekerondigerete ase lyagenderete wikeraboniga mu waziri wetisemi mensito ya Kenya uyomanyike na Julius Migosi Ogamba nigaikira ase omuche Eldoret usase nyumba yobra ya Eldoret State Lounge imeye county ya Uasin Gishu abono asagendrete kumanya omurai wense igoro ya machibu ayo aguchigosokiwa serituko eliga lya lero engaki aborokiwa chilifu chimia kianda merongo kianda na batato abuna buba ikaranse tamatemu ayayiga AKCSE abaganyita machibu engaki aborokiwa chilifu chimia kianda emerongo kianda na batato no baganyita machibu serituko na ekero lya samatoke ayayiga arachigosoka serituko lya lero umubaro bw'abana abaiseke nigore umubaro bw'ebiro ebirengo emerongo 5 yani asensemu yende 50% y'abana abaiseke nabo ikaranserete amatemu ayayiga igeminatina nigere enusu ase enusu engakekero koligereria nabo igo asegati ya mangana alia umurai wense aberega komanyigwa emambia yabono nigo ase aborokiwa baiga chilifu chimia kianda emerongo kianda na batato aborokiwa chilifu chimia ibere na merongo 5 na ebere nabwo banyorete guseba bwate grade kerigia C+ 270,000 abunabwo aborokiwa banyorete guseba bwate grade kerigia C+ nabo igobono babuti kwenyora libaga guchigosoa kwenyora libaga se university chaito nabo igo abande ntubati college polytechnic nabo igo asense muyende chitivet ime yense yaito ya Kenya igo korwa bono nse yechinsa chinke korbono nukuganya engaki omuwaziri wechiseme Julius Migosi Ogamba arachikora umurubiri oyigo mugima bwoko rali amachibu ya borokiwa bariwe karanserte amatemu ayegaso mwaka oeta bwechilfu ibiremerongo ebere 5 amatemu AKCSE na kurwabu mwancho muligeri ntuchuko ya retaronse nabo kumanya na kigo kigotuma amachibu nabo igonyora amachibu ago gusuka mutwe gutigana nayo asense moyende mambia bono ekiombe kyabanyagitari gya KMPDU nigo gyasirire getambukiro kyomo waziri w'obachenu Aden Duale gotenenia omuroberi oyu bwoko balikia abanyagitari kurwa chinsi chesiko ekigekwerera sector y'obachenu ime yense koba asugusunduka asenkwana nabariki bamangana asomucho yega Nairobi murikyo monene bwe kiombe kyo Daktari David Jatela nigaerere buna asege kabono niko kinyagitari cyabanyene cyabeire chikubarika abanyagitari kurwa chinse chaisiko na kubakana enengo enke ekige kwerera barabukuru abakoreri butari obwikiranu nigo bono ikiombe kya KMPDU kego chiko cyakyo bonyabi eri kubabeka byara abanyagitari abwo.
The Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union issues this statement to express its absolute and unwavering support for the recent directive by the Cabinet Secretary of Health on Aden Duale regarding the licensing and employment of foreign health practitioners in Kenya, particularly doctors. For far too long, the medical profession in Kenya has been treated as a frontier for profiteering at the expense of human dignity, professional ethics, and lawful labor standards. Today, we declare unequivocally that the era of treating doctors as cheap, disposable labor is over. That over the past 4 years, more than 3,000 foreign general practitioners have been licensed to practice in Kenya. While KMPDU generally recognizes the value of international cooperation and skill exchange, we must confront an uncomfortable truth. Many of these practitioners are not recruited to address the genuine skill gaps that exist in the country. Instead, they are deliberately targeted by certain private hospitals as vulnerable workforce to be exploited. By paying them wages below the stipulated SRC rates, by paying them low wages below what has been negotiated in collective bargaining agreement, these facilities have institutionalized a system we can only describe as modern-day slavery. This is a blatant violation of ILO Convention C-100 and C-97, which guarantees equal remuneration for work of equal value and equal treatment for skilled labor across the borders. The systemic exploitation does not only harm the individual practitioners, the individual doctors, or the individual health workers. It corrodes the very foundation of medical ethics. When hospitals prioritize profit over professional integrity, the consequences are devastating. The ethical decay witnessed in recent organ transplant scandal is not accidental. It is inevitably outcome of institutions that disregard the dignity of the workforce in those particular facilities. Facilities that outrightly and in open daylight disregard the law and dehumanize doctors inevitably extend the same disregard to patients, placing lives at risk and tarnishing the reputations of Kenya's healthcare systems. KMPDU further calls out the blatant abuse of immigration laws. We all know and we all understand that the requirement of a Class D permit in Kenya is that employers must demonstrate through a competitive and transparent process that the required skills are unavailable locally. Yet we know that these many facilities have deliberately bypassed this particular requirement and solely focus on licensing and recruitment of these particular doctors for the purposes of exploitation. Yet they do this amidst the existence of 1,000 doctors locally who are unemployed and who are grossly underutilized and underemployed. This culture of exploitation has deeply affected Kenyan doctors in a great far-reaching situation, to the point that we were seeing our actions in the year 2024 when other government facilities wanted to do the same action of exploitation. We know that many private facilities continue to subject local practitioners to demeaning locum rates, a situation whereby a doctor who has graduated is paid 40,000 or less, or a third of what they're paid in other public facilities, because they say they have imported doctors that they're paying so low wages. So it brings a lot of breach and indignity to the same hospital at the same facility. And that's what we are objecting today. We want to remind the employers, and this is to all the public hospitals, to all the private hospitals, to the mission hospitals that have perfected the arts of importing doctors or importing other healthcare workers. And with the same dignity that they're doing this, or the same way they're doing this, they're ensuring that they're paying them low wages. We want to give them out clarity. We want to tell them today that for locum rates, for the public, for the private, there are rates that are being gazetted in KMPDC from 2016. And therefore, we expect every facilities, when they engage doctors on locum rates, they must comply to these particular guidelines, because these are procedures, these are laws that must be utilized. And therefore, going forward, KMPDU is commencing a nationwide enforcement campaign to ensure that there's 100% compliance in both public and private facilities. We will no longer tolerate the systemic undercutting of professional fees and labor standards that we have witnessed over the years in the name of getting profit for the facilities. We are saying today that be it that doctors working in Kenya, whether local or foreign, they must be employed under dignified, transparent, and lawful contractual terms. We demand immediate alignment to the existing laws, the existing procedures, the existing guidelines that are done by SRC, CBS, and the professional standards by the KMPDC. There should not be any doctor, whether foreign or local, that will be dignified into slavery to do these things that harm the patient in the core basis of offering the services. That's our call today.
Arena ye kiumbe kia KMPDU asense muyende magiga yomurai wense Daktari William Samuel Ruto kubeka liga na dio boroso elio echiro ya Kagio ime county ya Kirinyaga gochaka kwa gacha ase alingu mutenyi okanu mwaka wechirwe 25 echire ibono niko yagachirwe ase birengo bya 50 nomo abu asera chiguika kwagachwa na koirwa bene na koigura bene umutenyo gatano na rimo omwaka oyoiga echire iyo niga ekoirekerengo gye $1 310 asobwagachwaye na nigo era chikubugori abauncherelia gwetani 1000 AM.
So far we have a good progress. We are about 50 to 60% progress. We are projecting to finish the projects by June this year, 2026, so that we can allow the traders in Kagio modern markets to continue doing their business as usual. The market will accommodate over 1,000 traders in the market who will be doing business inside the block. We usually have around 20 skilled and 30 to 40 unskilled per day who are coming to work here daily. The project has helped the community since most of the labor most of the people who are providing labor in the construction project come from within. So they are benefiting from employment. The suppliers also are benefiting from the project since the materials which are used to construct the project are coming from within. The quarries, the manufacturers of maybe steel and the suppliers come from within. I think we are doing good.
It has been of great benefit to us as youths. It has enabled us make use of our skills that we learn in technical schools, and it has also enabled us our minds to get busy, and it has helped us in avoidance and abstaining from drugs. For us, I can urge the government to bring more and more projects that can bring more opportunities to the youths. It has been of great benefit and we are happy. Yeah. Hii kazi imeniwezesha kujimarisha, imeniwezesha kukimu mahitaji yangu kama kijana bila kutegemea wazazi wangu. Pia imeniwezesha kuanzisha miradi yangu binafsi ambayo pia inanisaidia katika maisha. Naweza ongea na vijana niwaambie, kama uko hapo hujaingia technical school ama uko hapo nyumbani umekaa tu, ni vizuri ujiunge na shule usome course technical ambayo itakupatia opportunity katika maisha na itakuwezesha kujikimu.
Mimi ni muuzaji wa melon, niko mahali inaitwa Kirinyaga Kagio. Kwa hii kazi kutoka venye soko ilitoka nje, tumekuwa tukisumbuliwa na panya kukula melon zetu. Haya, kuna watu wengine wamebadilika, kama kai customer akikuja, kuna watu walipelekwa wa viazi, nyanya, watu wako kando na sisi. Na sisi tungependelea soko irudi ndani na itengenezwe haraka iwezekanavyo. Ambapo soko ikiwa ndani, kama kuna vijana wa roaders wenye wana kazi, vijana walikuwa wanaenda na mkokoteni hana kazi, vijana wote ambao walikuwa wanafanya kazi roaders, sasa hizi amekuwa kama mkora, ambapo kazi imekosekana. Sisi tunajiomba kwa hii serikali ya President William Ruto tuharakishiwe soko iweze kurudi ndani, ambapo sisi tuko na watoto tunalea, wanahitaji school fees, tunahitaji kukura, ambapo sisi tunarudisha shukrani kwa nyinyi, ambapo sisi tumesema ni asante sisi wauzaji wa melon. First shade iliambiwa ibomolewi, hii shade ya mbele, lakini yenye inajengwa gorofa ndio inaambiwa itakuwa watu wengi, na sisi turudisha shukrani kwa venye mama governor alitufanyia, lakini sisi hatuna ubaya kwa kila kitu. Mwenye amekuja kujitafutia na atafutia watoto wake akaribu.
Asense mwenye ndo mwancho mwarigereria abasa kurua sechi county chio Uasin Gishu, Elgeyo Marakwet, Nandi, Trans Nzoia, Turkana amana West Pokot nigo baburi we nabarayi bakurwa chinse mecho mona ba governor gotumeka buya chibesa chumuroberio oyumanyekaire muna nyota uyase elio kwegendereria mono asense moyo bunchereria aso muroberio oyuakorekaneta se mucho Weldarete county Uasin Gishu nigabasa chilifu chimiekana nemeronga chilifu kiandana 500 banyorire kerengo gi chilifu emerongo ebere na ibere kero yomo muroberio uraitu no muraibwense Daktari William Samoei Ruto.
Stize ama nirejee kile Mheshimiwa Rais amesema kwamba mpango ni kujituma, na amesema kama katika kuanza kwako biashara kidogo ulikuwa huko wasiwasi kwa sababu unajiuliza ni nani alianza kama mimi na akafika mbali, Mheshimiwa Rais amesema muangalie yeye kama mfano. Kwa hivyo msiogope kuwekeza kwamba tunawekeza na pesa kidogo tutafika wapi. Pana, yeye alianza kama nyinyi na amefika mahali amefika, mpaka amewaletea grant ambayo mtachukua mkaekeze pia nyinyi. Sisi pia tunatizamia kupitia mfano huu nyinyi nanyi mzidi kuendelea. Asanteni sana.
Yes, there's a program we are running through the now CDP ile governor amesemea to ensure that we have a cooperative in every ward. Na hii pesa vijana ampatiwa through nyota wakipata faida pia, we want to use our sacco model to mobilize their savings. They wanapata ukisave 1,000 unapata through the guarantee system ya sacco system, unapata zile loans pia za a maximum of 1% per month. So yes, as a cooperative model, as a sacco family, we are waiting for these young entrepreneurs, Your Excellency, wakaanza kupata ile returns zao, to mobilize the savings and to support them through our aggregation models to prosper.
This is one of the many programs ya serikali. Sisi tunataka kuwaomba mujitume, mujue pia kuna various programs ya serikali. Mmesikia kwamba katika agriculture na hii region yetu yote, we are more of agricultural. We have a lot of opportunities and a lot of resources available in SACCOs, available in our programs ya serikali, NAV CDP and all the others. So hii pesa kidogo umepata, take advantage of the existing opportunities in government. Including hii tumesema kwamba tunataka kuwapatia waiver for business license. Musipojituma na mkuje mbele yetu na kutuambia we are a beneficiary of this program, you have promised us to give us a waiver, you will not benefit from it. So vijana, jinsi mumejituma mpaka saa hii, tunawaomba ya kwamba mujitume kwenda mbele, so that from these 10,000 beneficiaries, let us in another 2 years benefit this region by having another almost 30,000, 40,000, 50,000 young people out of this program. So muzidi kujituma.
Good ni encourage vijana kwamba mujoin cooperatives na SACCOs, kwa sababu county governments tuko na department ya trade, huwa tunapeana pesa kwa SACCOs na kwa cooperative enterprise development fund ili wasaidie kusalisha hizo pesa kuwa nyingi. Kwa hivyo hakikisha kutoka hapa wale wanatoka Uasin Gishu visit our service center ili mtakuwa guided vile mnaweza kujoin kwa cooperatives, vile mtaweza kujoin kwa SACCOs, ili tukitoa pesa sana sana tunapatiana minimum 500,000 Kenya shillings. Hiyo mkipata hiyo itawasaidia msonge mbele. Asanteni sana.
Klaus. So mimi ni kusema dunia inawategemea, nchi inawategemea, wananchi wanawategemea. Out of 2 million, out of 80,000 here in North Rift, only you ulipata hiyo bahati ya kufaidika.
Anybody can succeed in this world. It's only the distractions that will make you not succeed. The first things that will finish you, please choose your company well. Please attach yourself. It's better to attach yourself to a mama mboga who knows where she's going than ukue na group yako ya kwenda sherehe. Watakuwa na kungoja saa hii, wanasema twende tupige sherehe na hii pesa, alafu inakuwa hasara kazi ya president. I want to request you, be patient, please. The shortcuts, kuna shortcuts mingi siku hizi, mtu anakuambia ukifanya hii unakata shortcut ndio upate hii. I want to request our young people of Kenya, no one has ever succeeded globally. Even hiyo China wameenda, hakuna mtu amekata shortcut. It is through hard work. Mtu azai kuambia kuna pesa ukiweka hapa inatoka ikuwe 10 times. You have just to follow through the procedure. So please avoid shortcuts, continue, focus, and finally, because I was in the SACCO sector before, hii pesa 150, hii pesa unapewa from today. I am requesting you, please, the easiest way to double that money to be more in terms of capital is make sure you attach yourself to a SACCO so that you can save. If you want to buy something of 200,000, you save at least a third of it, you get 3 times, you can buy that thing. If you want to save 300, for example, you save it in the SACCO, and the SACCO will give you 300,000 to do a bigger project. Don't go for other shortcuts, don't go for Shylocks. Please avoid Shylocks as much as you can so that you can be able to succeed. Thank you very much.
Okay. Mimi, I own a posho mill. So
you said you come from which county?
Trans Nzoia.
Hey, ni mbaya.
Yeah.
And you own a posho mill.
Yes.
So unataka hii pesa itakusaidiaje?
Hii pesa itanisaidia. Niko na challenge, mtu anakuja kusiaga, anataka unga lakini hana mahindi.
Hana mahindi.
Katika baadhi ya hizi pesa itazitumia kununua mahindi so that mtu akija kusiaga, akija akihitaji unga uko hapo tayari. At the same time, baadhi ya pesa naweza kuwa nasiaga hayo mahindi then na brand. Mtu akija anapata tu unga uko ready made, si lazima aje na mahindi.
That's very good. Yeah. So unataka ukuwa unasiaga unga, una brand, yes, una package, yes, uuze katika ma supermarket hapa na pale.
Okay, kwanza mimi kama salonist, mimi kama salonist, nikipata hii pesa itanisaidia sana kwa sababu kwa saloni yangu, hiyo saloni yangu ni nyumba ndogo sana na nitapata kuongeza, nitakuwa na pesa ya kununua nywele kwa sababu customer anatoka kwingine na nywele anakuja nimsuke. Saa zingine hata wanaweza nihepa kwa sababu saloni yangu haina vitu mingi kama shampoo. Sasa itanisaidia sana. Sana sana. Asante sana our president kwa kutukumbuka. Sisi kama vijana tumeteseka sana. Mungu akubariki.
Yangu tu ni kuambia vijana wenzangu tutumie pesa kwa njia sahihi. Tuko na imani na tulipopewa ratiba hii na Mheshimiwa Rais na sisi tukapitisha katika kamati yetu, tuko na imani kwamba mnaenda kutumia pesa hii ili iweze kuwainua na mjiajiri. And I'm sure and I'm very confident that you are going to make it in life.
Asanse mwendo mwanchu murire kiombe kiabagachi mense bakoragwa no muinjinia Shama Kiteme amona George Ndege nigo bamuchire serikali enene neye county ase okorari kirasi ime mono asubwagachi bwechinyomba echo staikira tikorengana neri chikolio bwagachi aya nigachirimo igaye nyomba kugwa ensemo ya South Sea ase baeresire buna okorwa ria kinegatie bintu biria bigochengera okwagachwa bwechinyomba staikiranetie echo chire usisitekera ntikorengana neri chiko tiango turarigeri nariya bagwati kurase ensemo yabo.
One, we appreciate this is not the first conversation we're having about these issues. Every other time we have a collapse, we have had investigations done. We have not seen the reports come out and all that. But we have dissemination of a collection of studies that have been done about collapses and a couple of the reasons that you have seen causing these buildings to collapse. Some of them include involving quacks in construction projects. When you do not have experienced, licensed professionals involved in your building, you are at a risk. But the other thing, and we have said this, we are actually repeating ourselves, is construction materials. We have quality control processes and quality assurance processes. We talk of slump tests for concrete. we test steel, we test concrete, we test all these issues. Peer review is a process that involves, when the design has been done, you need a second eye to have a look at it. Peer review, a second eye, competent, qualified person to look at the structural design from what the designer has proposed, the architectural design from what the architect has proposed, etc. Even the approval process, a second eye, not just what has been done initially. And we are recommending that as one of the processes to be an inbuilt process for quality control and quality assurance, all through, from design, approvals, and all that. Can we tell that, yes, it was done this way, but someone checked and confirmed that what has been done is correct, it complies? We want to see that inbuilt in the processes. Of course, the audit we are calling about is not only on these incidents, but also in the systemic processes and failures we have seen.
We are working in our space, but we cannot do everything. The government has a critical role to play. The Cabinet Secretary of Lands has her agencies under her. Can Borax today tell us why we have quacks working out there? What is it going to take to remove all those unregistered professionals who are not capacity building, who are not investing in what needs to be done right? Can NCA, the National Construction Authority, blacklist all contractors who have issues? Make it public. Let us know who are those directors. Can KEBS give us, certifications of building materials so that we are sure what we recommend is what is actually going to be used on site? The government has a critical role to play. Can the county governments, because they are the ones who are vested with enforcement, in this case that we are talking about is Nairobi County, can we be guaranteed by Nairobi County, one, they will curb the corruption that developers are using to circumvent the law, to circumvent the use of proper, professionalism? Can they curb that? Can they put professionals in the right places so that when their officers are going round for enforcement, it is engineer and against a registered engineer against another registered engineer, a registered engineer in the county who is dealing with a registered engineer on site, who is dealing with a registered contractor on site? If it is not done that way, then I'm sorry, we cannot guarantee Kenyans. So the government has a critical role to play, and they need to come out clearly.
Built environment in Kenya is dire. We are living by the grace of God. If a tremor, even at a very low Richter scale, was to happen in Kenya today, a lot of buildings will come down. The statistics are there. And I would like you as the fourth estate to probably go and do a little bit deep dive on the quality of housing. We talk about collapse because that's dramatic. I want you to go and investigate something we call sick buildings. How many buildings actually have daylight? How many buildings have fresh air? How many buildings have family?
Yamano mwanchu murira soko choren soko TV uburuso bumugusi chideke chigemerongene nenye urichinsi nyichi abono mambia kerokeria amate mwari aganyire mu waziri w'ekisemi Julius Migosi Ogamba bono nikagendera tukuralia amachibu yamate mwayo akCSE akorekanito mwaka w'ekivemero kurwase omuchi Eldoret imie county ya Uasin Gishu kerokeria ya maseyemo toko ya baka sensemo yende turalire na naralya agendera tukurwase ensemo eyo ase emambia eyega namagega yayo kagukorana nama koralia machibu ayo ntochikwira na ime studio ase mambia ya vona astra chiko sanga amangana au engana narega mu waziri mwa mangana chise chisiko musela mudava lya gotebana omwaka w'ekivemero 2025 nebekara wachero bonene barakorekane unana kiri byabo igo tutware referendum aina rutura chiko ligereria emambia ya bono kando nonye na matemu ayega gendera tukoralirwa ase emambia ye eyega tuskare kurwase TV ya ogendera gotengera tiango turaligire na lya gendera tukurase mu Eldoret kerekere mu waziri w'ekisemi Julius Migosi Ogamba agendera tukoralia amachibu ya matemu KCSE
examination, even as we celebrate the progression of the very first cohort under the competency-based education into senior school. this coming Monday. This moment stands as both a culmination of a long-standing tradition and the dawn of a new era, affirming our collective commitment to assessments that not only measure achievement, but also nurture the competencies required for the future. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to extend my profound gratitude to all sector stakeholders who year after year have demonstrated unwavering dedication in preparing our KCSE candidates and ensuring the successful and seamless administration of the national examinations. Their commitment has safeguarded the credibility of our examination system and upheld the high standards that define our education system. Let me take this opportunity to acknowledge the concerted efforts of colleagues across the Ministries of Education, the Ministry of Interior and National Administration, and Information, Communication and the Digital Economy, as well as the Teacher Service Commission during the administration of the 2025 KCSE examination series. In the same vein, may I commend all the center managers, supervisors, and invigilators for their integrity and diligence that have made this examination cycle a success. Today, as we release results for 993,226 candidates, I wish to register my sincere appreciation to His Excellency the President, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, for his trust and steadfast support in enabling our team to implement critical reforms in the education sector. These reforms are geared towards transforming the delivery of learning and teaching in order to nurture and build every learner's potential and to equip them with the skills and competencies necessary for life in the 21st century. Ladies and gentlemen, as we gather here today, the government has employed a record 100,000 teachers since 2023, with 24,000 of these teachers recruited this year. A record total of over 25,000 teachers have also been promoted. To better prepare our teachers for the rollout of the competency-based education, our teachers have been retooled and reoriented to the new system. The primary objective is to strengthen teaching and learning in our schools and consequently to improve our education outcomes. In order to enhance access, we are expanding infrastructure across our basic education institutions. In the financial year 2024-2025, we built a record 23,000 classrooms across the country to support the transition of the first grade 9 cohort. This year, we will construct a total of 1,600 laboratories in various senior schools in order to support practical learning. To anchor these reforms on a solid legal and policy foundation, we will soon be presenting a sessional paper and 11 bills to Parliament for consideration and enactment. Once passed, this will help entrench efficiency and effectiveness in our education system and affirm its competitiveness globally. We also continue to support our learners with capitation in fulfillment of the government's obligation to provide free and compulsory basic education. For this school year, for instance, we released the sum of 44.2 billion shillings as capitation for learners in all public basic education institutions ahead of school opening. This is the first time that capitation has been disbursed before schools open. Heads of institutions are expected to ensure prudent use of these public resources for the benefit of learners and to desist from imposing any extra levies or fees upon parents. The candidates whose results we released today are now expected to transit to tertiary institutions, either in universities or TVET institutions. At the tertiary level, we are implementing the student-centered funding model by which the government supports students and trainees by way of scholarships and loans depending on the level of need of each learner. To enhance access and affordability, fees for academic programs in our public universities have also been rationalized by between 15% and 40%, so that the fees for university education programs range from 5,800 to 75,000 per semester, depending on the program of study. I call upon all eligible candidates, therefore, to apply for placement to programs of their choice once the process starts. I now wish to provide an overview of the performance of the 2025 KCSE examinations cohort. Ladies and gentlemen, during the 2025 KCSE examinations, 993,226 candidates sat the examination compared to 962,512 candidates in the year 2024. This represents an increase by 30,714 candidates, which is an increase of 3.19%. Of the 993,226 candidates who sat the 2025 KCSE examinations, 492,012 were male, while 501,214 were female, representing 49.54% and 50.46% of the total candidature, respectively. This is the second year in a row since inception of the KCSE examinations that female candidates are more than male candidates. However, 10 counties had a significant entry of more male than female candidates. These were Garissa, which had 66.24% to 33.76%. Mandera had 65.09% to 34.91%. Wajir had 60.10% to 39.90%. Turkana had 57.67% to 42.33%. Narok had 53.10% to 46.90%. Samburu had 52.43% to 47.57%. Mombasa had 52.08% to 47.92%. Homa Bay had 52% to 48%. Nyamira had 51.9% to 48.03%, and West Pokot had 51% to 48.16%. 14 counties had a significant entry of more female than male candidates. These were Vihiga, which had 55.905% to 44.10%. Elgeyo Marakwet had 55.06% to 44.94%. Kisumu had 53.87% to 46.15%. Kiambu had 53.23% to 46.77%. Kwale had 53.19% to 46.81%. Nairobi had 52.90% to 47.10%. Kakamega had 52.47% to 47.53%. Meru had 52.22% to 47.78%. Isiolo had 52.21% to 47.79%. Uasin Gishu had 52.14% to 48.26%. Busia had 51.72% to 48.28%, and Tharaka Nithi had 51.57% to 48.43%. 23 counties, however, recorded near perfect gender parity, which counties were Lamu, Marsabit, Embu, Tana River, Laikipia, Kisii, Baringo, Migori, Trans Nzoia, Nandi, Kajiado, Taita Taveta, Kericho, Siaya, Kilifi, Bomet, Nyeri, Nyandarua, Murang'a, Nakuru, Kirinyaga, Bungoma, and Makueni. The number of candidates aged 16 years and below increased from 20,546, which was 2.13% in the year 2024, to 26.391 or 26,391, which is 2.65% in the year 2025. The highest percentage of candidates registered for 2025 KCSE examinations were within the appropriate age bracket of between 17 and 19 years, constituting 716,048, which is 72.02% of the total candidature. In the year 2025 KCSE examinations, 17 subjects recorded a significant improvement in performance, similar to the number of subjects that recorded significant improvement in 2024. 11 subjects recorded a significant decline in performance in the year 2025 compared to 10 in 2024. Female candidates recorded better mean score performance than male candidates in the following 6 subjects. That is English, Kiswahili, Kenya Sign Language, Home Science, CRE, and Arts and Design. Male candidates recorded better mean score performance than female candidates in 11 subjects, namely Mathematics, Alternatives A and B, Biology, and Biology for the Blind, Chemistry, General Science, History and Government, Geography, IRE, Building and Construction, and Business Studies. The performance of male candidates was comparable to their female counterparts in the following 7 subjects: Physics, Agriculture, Computer Studies, French, German, Arabic, and Music. The number of female candidates registered in the following 5 subjects was too small to allow for a meaningful comparison of performance with their male counterparts. That is metalwork, power mechanics, electricity, drawing and design, and aviation technology. As has been the case since 2023, KCSE examination, the 2025 KCSE examination results have been graded using the reviewed grading system, in which the overall grade at KCSE examination considers mathematics the best performing language among English, Swahili, and Kenyan Sign Language, and the best performed 5 subjects. There were 1,932, which is 0.19% candidates who obtained an overall mean grade A plain in the year 2025 KCSE examination. This is an improvement as compared to 1,693, which is 0.18% candidates who scored plain A in 2024. The number of candidates with direct university entry qualifications of mean grade C+ and above was 270,715, which is 27.18% in the year 2025 KCSE examination. This is an improvement compared to 246,391, which was 25.53% in the year 2024. The number of candidates with grade C minors and above was 507,131, which is 50.92% in the year 2025 KCSE examination, compared to 476,889, which was 49.41% in the year 2024. The number of candidates attaining a pass grade, which is grade D plus and above, was 634,082, which is 63.67% in the year 2025, compared to 605,774, which is 62.76% in the year 2024. National schools produced the highest number of candidates with an overall mean grade of A, which was 1,526, followed by extra county schools, which had 197, and private schools, which had 185. Sub-county schools, however, produced more candidates in the category of C plus and above compared to county schools, accounting for 72,699 and 36,600 respectively. I wish to reiterate that our stand on the integrity of examinations in November last year, we indicated that there were reported cases under investigation and that action would be taken upon conclusion of the investigations. At the conclusion of the KCSE examination, 1,180 candidates were found to have been involved in examination irregularities. Consequently, and in line with the applicable law and regulations, their examination results have been cancelled. Individual candidates' examination results will be accessed online through a link on the NEC website or directly through the following link: results.nec.ac.ke, and candidates will be required to enter their index number and one of their names as per the registration data for the 2025 KCSE examination. The results will be live and accessible immediately after the end of this function. It is now my humble duty and privilege to declare the 2025 KCSE examination results officially released. I wish all the candidates success in their future endeavors, and to all of you, Happy New Year. Thank you, and God bless you.
Eje Nensoko TV, uboroso bumugusi.
Kera kama tingatara, daike taoni ya nyamira na lena shauri zangwe, ngara rombo ijana. Umozu watera mabwari.
Muligirani bwa Nsoko TV, oyo no moroberio gwo kuongolia mareko na inje mwana mboka Edwin Yang'au, turabe tukumira na kila litu kulie iki. Guchakera chinsa 10 chamogoroba wikense yemo ya butuko. Kugwa kolire mirimo yawo yerituko. kwa abokire orosete oikaransitero ya ubwe andaje tasike rugo orambulete merondo kunya gusibero ngori na hali ase screen ni chingero chikoletwo na Mwanambuka Edwin Nyang'au ano to konyora chingero chionsi echiegita na chobenga kwa nubukano echiembegetere ndo gesongengo to amereria
Bakaliya omotoya kabwatwa bakaliya omotoya kabwatwa amatukemeronge na gaika kabwatwa
ine asama kiaya mbireo seino mbireo asama tuko amaega obugima bwakira litko bwomogusi nigo bwale gosirwa nobolemi likomera liburuga lisamora byonsi asekerenga yokobeka ase ekiage ekemo ningi keire libaga likiage asenka yomogusi nobonchereria noborokia nobonyanyimbo gose nobwagachi somorobelio wikiage kyomogusi nobe bokumerana na inche Frida Kerbo kera litkoria ijuma chinsa ibere chamugoroba astogo sanga nomugusi kurwa chingongo eliokumanya naki bakonyorera engere yabo ya kera litko tomocha
onye kubwatari iborio obosemia gusekero kende gyonsigoro yemeroberi yaitu y'Ensoko TV twakere simi ase namba 0788666663 gose turikiriri uko email ensokotv.ke@gmail.com boigo nabugo tutarira service ite gutuka samagacho hazina towers egoroba ya gatanu na limo asumucho munene Nairobi. Ensoko TV uboroso w'omogusi magega ya television y'Ensoko gwikasero yawo kwanyoriribaga ligi yaliyokuraria asegete senambeyemo imena isiko yeliroba liyagusi onye kubwa tukuraria bokwenyuria ogukwa gose okubonchuria bono nabokonyoribaga lyabene liyokuraria asegete senieke aseriguri liyake busani turikere gose twakere simigwetire namba yaitu yobonchuria 0788666662 Eye n'Ensoko TV uboroso bw'omogusi.
Mwancho muriria w'Ensoko TV karibu nainde ase ensa ingabure chide kariko migure chise isano chiabona mambya magega yomu waziri w'ikisemi Julius Migosi Ogamba koralia amachibu naboiga matokeo ya borokiwa bari karanseri tamatema KCSE na kiribya nainde bono igankwarigari ase nkwane eto emambya bono kerokere tuguchiko kwanira ayande amangao ime ye studio ase mambya yabona na kiribya ngarigani omugeni oitwe kerokere gotubwati wetra senchiro mutanda gwekerero Facebook na bwego YouTube Nsoko TV era mbere mawasiliano nigere noti 5 5 ne mara gatano omwerio weka isato ase ujumbe nyenge emambiga kero ketusi gosanga aso bwamo igoro yenganene sana mu nchirulio yeri chiko wetera senchira manyakaine buna referendum yegana kigocha tukwera ni magega ntuchukura na magega wekaso mwaka ori abwe chilifu ibere na 15 na ibere magega yobo chori bu mwaka igo korekana Raila Odinga nyagosira amuno mureyo kana bwensi ya Kenya huru mwegai Kenyatta mbacha mo barosia handshake na wetre handshake yo enganega achana ntokaneri gutware ndikuna BBI abuno ya chakere tikurenga kiyo erigo chiko kwerera kokora ama unchirori make amuno asesemu yeri chiko oborai erikwenekia magendero no bokoreri bya gucha sore buna omwana nchi na turachikolire na boro asama tukayega Musalem Davari mu waziri mwa manichi sekisiko na eruchire nengane ende na kire bya tutware referendum umwaka 2027 ekerekerio bochorio obonene bora korekane yani ekerekerio wake kura komochora MCA omo senator omo wakilishi wabangi no mugabaro murai wense komochora omo bunge wense moyago na aron wake kura asesemo yende ye referendum eyo erachikwirira mu ncherelio negative intebyo na butrachikorira emambi abono kurumo chakaro boika omwerio na boigo mbwa mateki bororo egati ya BBI eyo ngakeyo oyorengo bisi oyorengo mokonyi bumurai wense Daktari William Samuel Ruto nigaringe mamincha yomurobero yoro kurwa na BBI lakini asengaki eyeiga nonyetara kwana konende ekerokero mu waziri agukwana uyuko ku Musalia Mudavadi onyore nigo barange nabo igo nigo bakurwa bokorelio bo amo wetra serikali yabono ya Kenya kwanza yonse kichiko ya kwandele mambi yabono korenda sabono nganchere ndara mwaligalio mugene itwemie studio eria gukwanira kugusegeria so mwaka oyo yenkarete na ntaraumira na ACMBO kara kwani ngo mwancho murigeria so mwaka oyo 2026
asante mwancho motegereri mwanegitinga na wakwaniria so mwaka oyo 2026 2025 ja wada mangana aya mange but nyasa utwanjiri twasoera so mwaka oyo 2026 ngakiare busaba no kuwana weito yanga kiale ko gobukuganu waitu nga nyasaye aigole emerangwa era na liara tuebi usena litorebe 2025 una yale
lakini no nyare kweba yale goli ne nyare kane kweba yale eriyo focus yago sebirengere bya byonsi bibasa yale ro bona
sa yale ro tutiga ya itiri uchimaya so igona bona sabango mwako oyo iga otuguchakase kipindi ekeo mwako oyo iga nga nyasaye toyobekere wabubo gosemerio konene gwitani igoro buna yale yes
karibu sana Nsoko TV asenga kinga bure yega tiato chakere Musalia Mudavadi asinganene nagoteba na nigakwana sorongorwa western nabwego before atarakwa nabwo nyukwane na nda sense moyende na kiere byabone ngakiekire nsitu ya Kenya gutware ndugu ikurwa na referendum kwenyore kuru mwaka kutwanyorete katibe yenya yo mwaka we 2010 wekera rero iga astayo maunchiro lya korekanira se katibe yega of course ntubate bipengele bikebike bigo chibya korekana wetra se bunge nene emswali ligo cyare tubaya ndabari yeli tete ya chinchu igo lakini ase referendum eri boro morunge koligeria obokora kiujumla kurwa soborai paka tweke nyone nase ebinyoro byeito ase tokorwa yatora chakira se enkwane yo ngakiya ikire yo tware referendum nabo igo kwerana li enkwana ya Musalia Mudavadi
Azamangana I think na tegerete Musalia Mudavadi mwaziri Alice Chams Media I think Chams Media interview Musalia Mudavadi amangana akoeresa use okuganio kata gete kwa referendum tariento kegenia story na nde negento kerinda tabenga ki negento getakere but chinga kichegente getakere na question muna toka enda korosia referendum mu lazima torosie question ya muna didi tu rosa tiringa keri ajungwa na ndizi so there is a process and the proposal Mudavadi yakoleta ne proposal ingia depending nganga yako ya approach ku because the government of the day ne bwata manganae the way you achieve into be the achieve ne government ya ite which maya lakini according to me a question inda boli ngaki of course tara ale to mete nganki kegera te garuete example ngaki orumuna amangana nale ebunge ya ite tanyale kokora abone te gwethere referendum which is true even though we have story rose mbiri kunyara kokolekana asengenjo bita ite referendum gose bita ite go change kweli jiko no go change kweli jiko lazima to ite rasiki as a referendum ebintu gete bimanya koba so Mudavadi asa ikirete bona go sa say interview yae is very right na what of right yo propose bono into bono muna bana inji me the referendum comes to us. Yes. We are the one to give the say but enjara de go yiburuka negotia say 2027 elections nere karo go yirigeli either number 1 bago yirigeli ensemble ngaki economic ata getenga Kenya ti kutumia chibese chinyinge korosia separate referendum kuma tena benga election lazima tutu ale clerks lazima tutu ale returning of yani it's like an election. Yes, akero go yibwata ni chionsi tuchiko akira chionsi number 1 baka tokirigirige ndengaki ubobisi mboro bote ko biswe referendum weyega egere ebintu bichole ngo chorore msiengo chorore mpingo women rep senator igabana baka ndete korali agenda zibinde byose egere nanto kuburukani bugento kitekere kyamana yagonda go shape Kenya like rijiko I think ndenge bona to korara kwaneru kebe ku separate because yegene you know my time mpina boto kumuruzi nande but diriji kukulia etire it will take another time gocha nada koraki kuliruzi igama goso masinini ama goso masini na vera ile miaka ndenya wanani 15 bona kurutua 2010 how many years 15 years ndo ana kuchinji so na ndenga if we make a mistake ninga tumona tokwa gulibaga to kelingoli na keligeli ubo torobo rusubuwa urusubuwa yende kinga yego toira so mojano to yonga will go for a referendum no nyembi biayo matali yarenge okay ngoja torega but talinga yarenge mbe who proposed it was a kodi ya that ngaki asenge njo ya ruete kuwa se otherwise ibintu biri ya muraiwe stabwate kubwa bogo correct bogo chakingende is the one who initiated that's abuno mojando otherwise ibintu we need them now like yesterday. But is it going to Mudava the one of the approach BBI from another angle? You know, I think Muru at the BBI as an enjoka group president in Goliath, a prime minister, any prime minister which will create Gugalia as an enjoy the winner takes it all. Yeah. To bring Kenya together. No, even Mundota feeling again he has lost. Number 2, now they were to be given a place. Then no question why elections then? Okay. If no more accommodated and wants to be, then why elections? But inclusivity, that's why I think any agenda proposing inclusivity, which was a good thing. But that's more political question until we can reach it.
Okay. Asense moyende ekero keria Mudavadi agoteba na ekero gwake kura yogo choro murai na aro gwake kura yogo teba yes or no iguru ye referendum mweyiga nga na ki campaign gucha ukareka na kumanyu mwananchi bune bintu birororo nebi because ebana no MCA ebana no mugabana ebana no mujumbe ebanya no murai gwense kero yo makale mood ne manifesto yaye kuegerera kando bono ningoya ero gucha gutwara libaga yokoralia igorebe ntobiria biganire gukorerwa amaunchurelio gosene kyombe KBC na kego chagutigerwa ono emeremeyo
Ismail IBC na nenge gutigeruri bagali okonda korale ici IBC gasi ya ni manyekarete they are not politicians yendunge bakorale the only thing nengeringa ki they sensed yani yo gasi yabo in short na ko na elections but mono umochandora abuna kwa kibigire the question is nero kirumunda kwebuli unless now the unless again kibisire gatia you know the government of the day na we go decide era osia referendum ebe su chuizi yani ebe gento kiri urarute munumere nando olubyenga igente na botogeta gete but referendum we iyera nyarika ne gukorosu gusi question ye gukorosu go aso wenta isi abantu gochora umura you know my there is for president is for president that's why bintebiga tutubona to be separate from politics negento kiri ne richiko because richiko muna tokomeki mistake ga nande liko tuira ni magana nande miaka gete na ono oro tuira ni miaka 15 na ande imagine miaka ene 15 miaka ere nguranyora onyo kwa odra bana ba bera bana why I want all my proposal was a proposal Musalia Mudavadi akoleta is timely. Yes, we need it. Yes. There's so many. One of ni Mudavadi akorua example kelikia ya CDF. CDF take over solved in parliament because abantu bako ye solve na abantu bali na baruna baka uchibezi. So mojanda no lega. So the question was kwanda ku propose kwa as a referendum nere kwenda kuligerelia gose kuyerusi as a parliament ebenga nili chikunga kwamba abayana inchi bahatebire this is the way. Amangana yuare.
Okay.
Yeah. So incheko bwana ase akarumonda MCA kabwate campaign ya MP bwate ya governor SNT bwate campaign ya chi manifesto bwate Jones ikenogo paili ebintu ebinga asobongo bwo mwana inji atanyale bono akoligeria barayi abasengenjo no gosera ko kali mwina byo bago focus ga lijigere badanga eliuti etikagocha onyolenga kitu make a mistake, lifetime mistake.
Okay.
So to me Mudavadi is doing, he has a right to propose a referendum which is okay. We need it, to be very honest, but timing inchoko wanikuwa ngaki tebe kuna elections.
Alright. Yeah. Ntochikoligeria sensemo eyo because maybe no baragania koligeria sensemo ya coast. Naro koye kolera kando ntochikoligeria na chibesa irenga. Chira tumeke koye kolera kando na boiga kerokeria ukuburukaniamo nobochori mwanchu murigeria ase ayabwatikaine na matemu ayua sokire chira kikanke okurubona alia a KCSE yo mwaka we 2025 nigo aborokiwa 1000 yemo chimia kianda 32 nabwo banyora grade kerikia A ase amatemu ayaiga ayunkarangane wizara ekerekeria tebire aborokiwa chilifu chimia ibere 50 na ibere nabwo banyore grade kerikia C+ nabono nigo bagochia nigo bagochukwenyorera mabaga ase university ime yense yaitu ya Kenya okorengana na machibu ayo ayumu waziri wechisemera lile mambia bono niko aborokiwa 1000 yemo chimia kianda 32 na banyore grade kerikia A abwase aborokiwa 270,000 na bono bagochukwenyorera amabaga ase university ime yense yaitu ya Kenya ekekeria twendera tukumenya amange ase emambia eyega nase ensemo yende ase omworokiwa ulia oraganie kumanya amachibu ayo portal neralia ya enanua yo erikonyora amachibu ayo mwanchiwa omoligereria ase omworokiwa neralia kwenda ase wetera senchira yekerero nabo okoswalia ase portal ase website area ya KNC ya Kenya National Examination Council nabokonyora amatokeo ayo aroro erikonyora amachiwago ase emambia eyeiga ekerikeri twendera tegusanga abo asense muyenda aborokiwa 48,333 nigo banyore grade kerikia E aborokiwa chilifu 45 chimia 33 nigo banyora grade kia E ase amatokeo ayo a KCSE 2025 mkera guchasore samia mambia jabono kero tukonya ukwandire ngani mbwa matikibiroro egatiere referendum yego kwanderwa na kiriki yakorekanete sing omwaka 2018 wenyoro mwaka 2017 maiga yobo chori nigo NCA mochiti kubagekana singe nchunya usara Raila Odinga na bwate semu yayo muraje sweto bisi urumwege Kenyatta sentunde ya kabire nehera na bwate semu yaye egacha kwirira tukanyoro mwaka 2018 March etariki yaringe stariki kianda handshake no yacha kerete gacha kwirira bono amangana ywa bibi high whereby task force karosi wa later steering committee gacha karosi wa ebintu binge sana bigakwaneru ntabotike reke rokoli ebintu biri byaringe ase BBI na bono ebiga labda bira chikoretu ase referendum ye mbwa matikibore ase ebintu ebibere
obwa mate ndaligereri to ase change wose yani also kuligereri tindaro tofauti na of course Mudavadi umete mbara ba clear mgento kipata yetu ku propose igarwete example ekemo ekikia mangana for example ya ACDF Constitutional Development Fund egarwete enini yo na egaroko ligerenga yendonkendi nkeyo obwa matenda abasekoleta nande no torenga and you call me as jinga kichi ba proposing ebintu bibyarenge BBI will be a replica. Na bibi na and most of them actually vira change kwa marieta. But most of them, that's what we need. So gendonkeyo tofauti ba kwenda koleta. Because nonye mangana ko CDF. Mana CDF was part and parcel ya BBI. Ingo kwenda utako ya lenge. So obu hamate wa BBI neyento naniata to propose Mwazili Mudavadi is more of the same. Ntora manyange ntoki. But example gelia ruta nabage ko toro kana bage ko tokezanga aiga sabaguji is another BBI in a different form. So this is one thing, but get kwenda ko package ku different.
Abangi ko chara barabone nya kana nere gwe ko gukwana guse no muntu mungago gukwana gwetera serio giriaye.
Bon no mate Mudavadi
asengecho serikali ya bono murayoro bono ngakyo ino inyore ni gari ngima mincha no nyore boma of Kenya nkiya kwa kanteri tikeli.
Ni nyore te gari akara agukwana gari yumara siringa gyabantu bande ngandu we are slow learners. Toire ngora mangana netu. To yawada. You know, when Mudavadi is speaking, the government is speaking. He works for that government. So kendunge Mudavadi
tokonyara
kumuhatana na kuwe mangana serikali ngenta serikali takitena mangana kurusi umuntu
na nere prime.
So into the president or the government who said the leadership bari geringa ki bono iga engaki yikire alias to abantu tubwata abantu abanga bago tokonya lakini ntubwati as to kubabeka. So this is going to help. No nini o my doyonde tata was to kubwati rijiko Mudavadi is holding a position here is not constitutional. Is nowhere in the structure of government. Yeah. But rende again the kago foji ne position here ne agoli ringa ki a position here and a constitutional office. Otherwise not a constitutional office. A prime secretary into prime secretary in a structure government. So nerena enkulige arrange but again ko na seri swali ya ongelinga this is the government speaking. Mucho nuru akwanete government was speaking through PBI. This is the same now that is all ringa na mangano ka go change. Nuru Kenya to jage teke Mudavadi ko chako.
Okay.
So it's more of the same tofauti teka ya to chotwa.
All right. Toligera seka tie bintu biri byarenga senga kelia ya BBI. Egati yabo na mangana inclusivity gose kubwatiraniwa kwenye rama bagasa serikali tebana naye use A or B. Twins na Kenya. Abo tukubwatira nasi oburai inclusivity yarenga abo alafu ingana ya kuna divisive elections ya kwanetu obokurumi corruption weak institutions na institution cha serikali
commissions
bono kiri gwikirania obokora libwaye boronge nigo chiko mochikorkana na nchire chisundo gete igo weekend titegekorekane chimanya gutabururwa chake gwikirania obokora liborobuya asense muyenda mangana a security oboredi safety and security na kwanere tworo responsibility and rights ebyo shared prosperity nabo igo engana yende devolution challenges ama kongwali serikali chege ngosi county chigwetera onspino ari gocha gukwanerwa nebe na ebinte bimbi koirorerwa gose atari makongo buri nseto wetera aganire koligere wetera serafane muyiga
nagira hotelinga Minto Ismail amangana yaiga asa mangana itu to for example corruption ne wena to kuligere wenchera and the corruption ne yen ne gento ki abeire is like one ya abeire ne gento kitekere nomo
so tiandara goten ya kwara ko bana nayo rumura igwenseya nki kwara ko kora igoro ya corruption
asa mangana corruption
yebon
nabonda atware ukugania ngao gwetari muna bantu bande iroma chinse I give you an example manya gote binkinda akora. Do you know corruption is a criminal offense as a chinse chindo if you are found guilty I know mundu wele oko anyi wuzu oko ngantuzungu
of course wala chise chine bakubata bakabara events
nando ale a president yere chara just because of corruption so ntu asenga njutu anyi embrace nande to embrace through the leadership ekara konya oranga ainayo manene police station ye nande naye bwanchite bintu gete bikoleka na bitabwene tikokolekana that means yoko abantu chintenge oko bachintenge ekena mokora njiri a president nakortaki na nimbata blessings kuruazali tuiso kunyari kana ngantu bwa tomura gozi yare ko bane kana nincherero omwaka ndo corruption kero kwaka gira agenda iko. I can promise you. Nelinga ki, if we want to do things right, ngora kwana tore president ngora kwana igoro ya Singapore, we cannot get to Singapore. Singapore umadena venga kana ni elito raira ale kwana. That's why now they go change. Singapore igo ya lenge is ne tofauti ya.
Igo ni elita change.
Ni elita change is Singapore because aso korolekana kwa yebuya. Na kana ni uhuru raira ale koleta na singi njio korolekana kwa yebuya. Oboke na mabere bwalinkana. Wono Singapore ine linga ki wono nturiko enda kana ni azebu. Wono tigato chensa tonyole Singapore. Moro ki obuya bwa Singapore buna yaro sigo yabe. So goeka Singapore corruption tegoika nonyento yantogoika Singapore no corruption kero. Nonyento bwati inclusivity. I'm talking about BBI and what they are going to propose. Nonyento bwati inclusivity. Obo amo gosubo obo nini obo here nyambo kenga no obo here ni ubu yego chia search community jeito. Number 1 ntogoika Singapore. Nonyento bwati nonye devolution is not going to be allowed a work. Yani ebintu nonye bintu byabe ngaki account na reko because why government national government yeko bihule.
Ego chaka koswana.
Right, diko monta accountable ndo kali yako raki talinga liyata te colleagues nana liyako ruana ngaki endeke ne kiane everything yane kwa nyora ngaki igaenda te ruana is doing nothing in our counties. Ekaro to kutuara mangana safety and security. Ndo wika kanani no nyendo bwa security because we are not safe. Ekaro ko ngaki ali sababu bagete kuzine de guruneti bakanyora kagalikade bakarutaza. So ebintebiga we need them now. We need them now. So, and again, to kende kerokyo, to kiri ya BBI ya responsibilities and rights. Responsibilities and rights. That was the bottom line as a regent. Ekero wate a writing also yankebeke generalinga. Ekero manyetenga ingeno moralia. Na ande era ini ene rongo tarra bunu morali na ande ngole bakamoyi. You are entitled like inche this is what I'm supposed to do what kero mondo tiga we right here. A president is a president tiga we president ndo tuwale president nando sometimes o madana wa president nande ora bondo to the current president na boko ba ndo bwa anto ba very na president ndo bwa the president of the Republic of Kenya and ndo bwa the William Ruto okora sukoba William Ruto kwa namna William Ruto adozu kamuino we president
abenge buna ekole iskoga iga naye asemeremo yako ikanyumba entata okay
so ibintebye ngakitoko byamonise that is the question ngakitoko byamonise egara to manya ngaki inche buna ande tata abana bane babwate rights cha 1 2 3 nande ai ngobara ite chikorteko that is what is supposed responsibility ngwakora kaiga sabakwa na commissioners cross cutting issues.
Yes,
we have commissions in this country. Chiko kora alip egazi ye commission yende kora goze gazi ye entity yende kara more of the event be okara the same. I don't want to give an example, but if example you'll be surprised. Well, I for example, I give you an example of NTSA. NTSA and the Ministry of Transport. Sometimes we conflict as 1 2 3 things. NTSA when talk na need. The institution in short the institutions are not independent. Commissions are not independent. Ase ngenjo tu aburuka niri siasa nyinge ase bintu. Wano ntabe ngaki njeno mwana siasa. Ose ngaboli chikura nkagwa. Ose itoboke tutu bwa masaba. Nkagwa ba mpina kuboli nkagwa. Ase ngenjo ndo close ne president. E president yakanjora ngaki ayewa kando be chairman ya SRC. Because we are friends. To go ntiga yo.
Koirani okoboko.
Koirani okoboko. Aya nama na kubekwa ase inkogaenda kusoma ngento mbwana ndoko. A commission ye njeno mwana siasa. So the president na bago ntumia buna atakete. Ase ngenjo njeno musanya na inje buna ande gali lazima anda akabeza kana bakara akaigeti kanga eteli ase Ismaili egere that's how corruption works. Angeteli ase Ismaili egere nkanyolere busiali umwali bwengoli. Inkinda the whatever. When commissions and institutions are working, that is what BBI at correct. Let us have commissions and government entities chiko work babwata responsibilities bakora chitari go cross cut etari ko genda ngegende kigwe kaga giatumane nandi giakoriki nanda bantu bande babwate enini ukubwa go gokore egende that there's okero mundu responsible. That's why okonyora ngaki yani okero mundu are responsible. That's why okonyora ebinde ebi gutuma tumera. So that was something to decisive elections. One minto iya in interview naona no matu kwa bero murali for some time no matter abantu mbarenga tu waziri enjoy ya elections every electioneering period abange
no nyino kurobekana kwa kwa bose
no kurobekana kwa bose ngwara ike tubina tu 25th the other year ngwara uja abantu bakwete just because the leadership n'abana inchi genda banda abana inchi batagete negente a government yegokora is they are para so ekeroto konyoranga elections chitu chikoba conducted in a right way. The commission yalitwali kuwa na commissions and ku cut close politics tell kola tu as amangana ibis independent yo kolega asiano kwa winili. That's why tutana kuegena emiaka yonzi bintu na kuegena ibc kucha baka na tolete as pop tomoleta tumubeka abeche apaso ni ibis
mwana inchi yakoba konsana
because of enini yaro the presidents ya settled over the years. I think it's okay. Oyona bagutumeka nyalebayiro na bagutumeka nyalebayiro tutuale commissioning goze constitution goze referendum aba nanji ba ediri konga the commission igewate mandate yo kolegente and no interference. That's the interference is the one ya galere Kenya to move from one step to another.
Okay. Nganchira mbwata ni bintu binde biraiga ase obwango mono. Nam egente getangani gokwanere executive structure yaringo muraibwense mokonyo muraibwense prime minister sensemeria ya BBI na two deputy prime ministers igano amangana ali inclusivity and power sharing igakwanirwe ti constituency chinya chibunga chinya 70 nigo chega nirgo chakoretwa chibunga chirego tebekana chiri chinene chigane iri kobagwa nabona asegusi yaito wikiraboni yanse mbona bobasyo maete nengane taramanyekana na kiegane iri koba manyete bwate chigwadirenga isano na isatu yes igo chi constituency chigane iri kobagwa asense moyende na mangana nara judiciary obisi nera ya kurukuna ombudsman yaganirwo chakoretu amangana devolution ekeronko bibwata bionse bibi kwanelimo nigo yari guchikomenta ugosangererwa se revenue ekine from 15% paka 35% gemenetina omanyete ugosangererwa kina gemenete goika kwanso bokurumi orara abukora because na kyoki ni paka 35% kuro 15
no corruption tera
kwenye corruption obo etarakeana amangana anti corruption no akwanira gocha omwerio kiujumla se bintu bire basic ebyange bine tuakwanira
ndeto chake kemo one mwe kama toko endeke na
tuchake na executive structure
you know my kero ku balloon the government kero ku yigora you made bono ya lingenga we are going to have a structure Uhuru Kenyatta abwate ku structure Ruto abwate bona ya ekwenda comment. Let me tell you ekero toko create office
yani game ntina tabauti teyo na keligera bona ya
tabauti teyo it's the same again to one na ekero toko anda ko collect prime minister. The prime minister is a new office turatigeria mangana liria
eigwekera bona gete yo
nani arete this is a number one to ngona to watch deputy chai ibere these deputies in what offices these deputies in what PS these deputies in what secretaries these deputies in what so we are going a structure ke kwenda ku balloon ayoro jo monto yo mo lakini the ballooning ya bantu bago chiko colleagues in that office they are so
mbata chemi
na bago etani
okay
I'm telling you na bago etani so inki ya increase the wage we call it wage bill yani bono nande
bakabe kumuki
ekibeze kinga ichi kuchukuru kibeze chingona chiri kuru asiki mwananchi no mwananchi yokwanda kuba overtaxed so that bamanye go fund these people these officers to do what, to operate. But when you look at it, it's not a problem to balloon the government because this is the inclusivity that we wanted. The problem, if we deal with corruption, do you know how much do we lose as a country per day in corruption? The Uhuru Kenyatta some time back, we were losing 2 billion in a day. 2 billion. Is it 2 billion in a day?
Yes. 20 billion.
20 billion. Do you know what 20 billion can do in our primary school? 20 billion.
Ekera toso ase county ya Kisii yoka ase omwakoyomo ebe sere gocha se county ya Kisii kurukwa se financial year. Terata cha 20 billion. Era around 15 to 18.
In short, inko anenya mire ito 20 billion will fund the entire Anyaribo, the entire nini Anyaribo. 20 billion. Ejitu aliko lose every day.
Yes.
So if tosieke emewe yechibasa chiko tonyera, tosieke emewe yechibasa chiko tonyera, we can fund this government and you will not feel a pinch. You ndoko insunete yonga ngagento kete yaza.
Ngoto utwara bakongo na Singapore wona.
Ndoko utwara bakongo na Singapore. If we to close the gap, you will deal in a corruption. Of course, there is no corruption. Lakini to close the gap, you will deal in a corruption. Amangana ega no nichi position is to kwandira. It will not be a thing. It will be a thing of the past. We cannot sit here and discuss each position because we have enough money to fund these offices.
Okay.
Na baka na onye development. Ndoko yukuboro robondo wenzi. Iwongo mojano no linga ki we are having a problem. And the bottom line is problems to what in Kenya okonya ora banya kitali bataraka no okonya ora bintu bindi mbiriko gendera what it's just because of corruption.
Tukanda commenta Chibunge.
As a commenter Chibunge. I give an example of a constituency where I come from. It's very big.
Kitutu Masaba.
Kitutu Masaba is very big. It's among 2 constituencies in Nyaboba Astiriji in Kisii land. And the andara kubole kereka asi abere nyinga. I give an example no institution no ni nwa ya mutu ale gasi nyinge muri ko employee abantu
bana
so ekara abantu bayikire ngakigete population ye ikira abantu gete it's need to cut so that nonye totabe nonye CDF so that kwanyora ngakino ne MP na bakuri mathe no MP edo let me tell you totabe kuzino yobo bas toward 8
Innocent Yobiri
toward 8. Tell me, ndia kutoka parliament. Nabona ntako, for example, nabona ntako ko legacy in that whole constituency. Ogota no matter no one campaign ya ko mobere gazi ngo campaign. Umuntu ako of course ine jitaringa kuzina na reason to kutwara the constituency. But the population nere ko ikanga ki kare population ya abantu ba in this constituency na bebona ntako bakanu what kabiri. But the constituency ndo bwa debera arobo bazi na Kitutu Masaba chimando ko like chimande ko bakuipe. So enda the ko rendo kana wata binga ekero for example we will not feel ntoko ikuborundo wensi aso kutwara another constituency if twarosiri twasikire mego ya corruption obukurumi ase ibase ko chakuru ko fund we will not. Okay. We are actually that service delivery toko kadi kuruwa so umuntu uri ko boyomo so baba kandirenga ki umuntu service delivery ya it has come closer which has about so there is no problem to me aso ko constituency obwa bambolinga ki chiwazanga ichiko chakuru. That's open up. So lazima bala deal na corruption because I have no leakage here. Bala deal na corruption even the will be affected but I see and you know feel a pinch.
Obviously ombudsman ase kigambiro geto judiciary.
Yeah. I think according to the BBI that office and the roles here okora inje ko bwana I didn't see a need.
Asengi chikorengana na iga kerenge kene ba kerenge kene kyangi yokoretera ebi no matungu baro niko ori kobo omonge igo bono niko bagati tiko kyanyani nyone no bokore lipoke de bwango bya ko boko bano block log ye yuko ba
and I thought you ombudsman aya kwanda go kyani ebi na mbibe ebingi. It's just a system. It's just a system. The system or the working not a working environment, but the system, judicial system, it just changing. It doesn't need a person. Is, for example, the Chief Justice. Ngoro chakara maraga ajita da ngabono. Ebi na kwanza mbike titi ba da tanga ki you nini yoko na kwa physical kere lo yangu apiere ko dige chichini ni chine chiba online chikezi chine chiba online
buna rero ga online chingi chiko koreka
chikare chinyingi chiko koreka online so you can get justice sit at your comfort zone
bana nega ali more kogendera
to kubwat that we only need a system, not a person, not an office. We need a system that works, a system where is corruption free. So there's nothing. Ombudsman tariko anda kogara judiciary to corruption. It's an individual putting the system in place. Na mangana itu akod. I didn't see a need of it. Okay. The legal personnel, so the legal minds, the chago now the essential to you and that office. But to me, according to me, that is the office I call it useless.
Okay. Aso kolera NSMA tumochu kwa nere ntokyo mwerio. Gokinia ugosangerelia increase county revenue allocation from 15 to 35 bese ire kwa Dusty County. Of course ase umwako yo igambra mba mentwe besa gimet nyone bese iri kando nyone ukinwa kurwalia na are nyone revenue collection nero manyetinero niga niri kurigerwa there kine because na kirende na aro kwa ubona besa rinde tayo bona
ora endo krokinda hotebi mwana mento kwa nywirire gakombe wa course kwa kibikire mesa yo nunyare gota kindi kuchire kombe kindi none wagurire kombe kunyira uyuru muntu obeire taxi bakoikiro mwe kwanza akorera kwa taxi na ninge ndukikora kwa taxi so I think even the Bindembiro, of course, that's why now even the Bind, I think it's a finer version. No, the Mudawa Dvako and Akoreta is a finer version of BBR. Is a finer version. They are going to look at as a mangana yoku increase the mangana revenue and what, unless they look at from a different angle. But thing go increase from 15. I really don't think it was an idea. Era Konya counties. To me, I believe in a system a bakery in place your colleagues.
Yes.
If we have a governor, for example, Kangata. Kangata is one governor. Otana go back and forth. Kuruasi, it is in a Moranga.
Yeah. No nyino kumwego na nyana ase media.
No nyugo ase media turi kumwego. Aka bwerusiri nona abza mangana siaza completely ochire back to service delivery. Umuntu uri the moment yako imukata banga kibono to increase rende ebango kuru 15% to nyibeke ebe 35%. That is the time abantu bako jako muruta makini. Why? This is a person who believe it in what he's doing. Osoiro chakira okora nega asi abantu bamu believe nande someone oro kiringa ki no muntu ba moranga account ba tagete this time and he has shown nere is the right person. He's a loved person. An example ko the wingeringa ki it's not about to increase, it's about an individual wants ubuata abantu ba yese nkoro taito ko bakoreregas say it was njuti igende geto kuligeli tofauti mudu example tali question kwa mora kini ndo example say to kuligeli ki oyo isaranzete noyo kubolia usinoyo isaranzete oyo gutagete kwa lime chande menene kubwa soyo kurwa soyo tagete gwetangire yokorteki
oyo rabi
siko siboro esayonsi yakorteki igebwekana so to me the system works sasa mangana county revenue increase and so what a system ekulunga kinga kito increase revenue without increasing any tax if I may put it that way.
All right. Aso gokorera toligeri bono e cost engima yokorani ngane yega ekero kiri umuraiwense okane wense ya Kenya Uhuru Kenyatta tetena 2 billion inerebese koibu aseri twosego sira asama tukoikomi nige yakoba 20 billion muna tuwa kesabu yiwa ekero kiri na se cost area BBI asobwango mono na boyare common range in between from 14 up to that 20 billion bono enyari kana so mwako 2027 toli area cost yengane yengima in reference to asekeri kyari ucha okorekana aso mwako 2018
now that we tiangiro le mai ko release wale now that we nga the moment to mix the constitutional nini changes ibintu bimwe abantu bwene tukuligereri babwene tukuligeri uburoso bwegento ke koletu asetore you know I don't know to my know what the time inkoire on how ebe koruto crafting the bill mpaka eche kobe question there so to know what that but utotara ikabu the point ni linga
asenge nje chinsa naboko ira insinyo nenda kikeya mweri ya bwango tukokolera
yani in short egento tugwana tukuligere linga ki the cost ya elections cha Kenya kurobo MCA bako governor is well known what the IBC needs.
Yeah, man.
Do you know we need to make sure to tighten our for only 10 days. Ko lose 2 billion 10 days to call a referendum. To make corruption to the beginning to get with bakaba kuase corruption yunga ba kunyara komenya without that corruption bakaba kuase njando bakaba ku for 10 days aso winga hani corruption batakola corruption mbakoba 10 days tonya chiba chiwa call referendum separate abantu ba understanding this is what we want for our country, this is what we want, but yekero to kuyi mix na election ngase ngijugo yugo cut costs does it meaning so we don't ndikuligere yoboli to weekend to the correct but the kuligere yoboli to which was to the correct to the kutumia lakini ndikuligere chiba so boli to which was chigosira lakini to the kuligere li tuke limo IBC chiba zicho kutumia I think there's a time was 2040 was it 40 billion 40 billion as a IBC is 20 days to check corruption to see it to check it in at Jones 20 days in this country to solve a problem in IBC.
All right.
Why can't we close our eyes for 10 days to see a corruption as a GJA to do amangana referendum?
Okay.
And that is it.
Nyamara mwanchu murigeria asukubwati aya igonse asenge ncho chinsa niwo ogutwanchira mwanchu murigeria turara na chiragabu lakini weekend gera araera weekend togoso weekend gekunyarikana ntosinyorera libagali okwanira yanda mange ngana yago yo mwerio gukwanira mwanchu murigeria mambia bona boigo mwake kula abo kiujumla omo Kenya nereliye
engana nalego taiya abana inchi baito aba Kenya mo muso umusi nelinga mangana ya tokole torbona gatali mageni na mangana ya na ali tutogete bono igasi chinga kichi batienjera tonyata gete nere ko itigwa chinse mo chionzi chikona chionzi pi so that tomayakoranga ki obulito bwegente kenki lakini iona ali usabanga ki aba Kenya asemwabeta usaba kusiba mita asemwabeta tigaturigirerie ibintu na ntororo ibintu ebi oboroso bwaye gusomwerio bwegente kenkereki gusengo gegochikokonya no mwana inchi ose no muntu ori omurayi ori saranse tare asenge nje create positions cha abantu bana igongeringa kimusi muna togochiko chako mwako tigaturigirerie ibintu tabauti muna twakabirigereria ase miaka ya itire gochimaga na ande tiganya sato konye tonyore Kenya iringia erikero muntu none kero gwisaranza buske geteniari watabenga ki this is the country I should be. Thank you so much. Tiganya sawa sisi.
Miyabano mwanchu murigeria asukubwati guchakira omuchakaro chinse nyi chabona mami gwekira bodi gati atichida isano ne muchuka chera chinsa isano ne mo chiabono mubaso gwika weekend na inde Jumatatu wika Ijumaa chinse nyoke chinsa isano ne maso muruberio ongabuno yega Etorobini asukumurekera amange aliago kolekana kuroritwerimo guchia ase elinde asabono yandara kubwate miruberende atere ase ritukorigima gwika weekend nakuganirie ritukorigia iritariane Ishmael Mogere.